leader. No matter what role one has, we are encouraged to lead with excellence, confidence, and humility. For me, being empowered means being trusted, and this is what drives me in all my interactions with my colleagues. Accenture's most important assets are its people, so investing in their well-being is crucial for our business. In the past 10 years, I've had many roles, but I've stuck to one domain, and that is railways. Mobility as such raises more than interesting questions for the future. Integration and orchestration of different ways of transportation in a huge metropolitan area, for example, is one of them. Railway will play a very important role in this ecosystem. Dedication is the key for me and for the more than 150 colleagues working in this domain. We are fortunate to have great clients who are real market leaders and disruptors of the domain. And only by evolving day by day in a truly client-centric manner will we succeed. So it's trust, confidence, and dedication, the secret recipe that we use each day to build something for tomorrow.
Good morning, everybody. This is our first keynote session, and today we are talking about what heroes and sheroes do. So welcome to the Romanian Testing Conference 2020 online edition. What do heroes and sheroes do on a normal basis? They fight villains and dragons, and they live to tell the tale. But the even bigger heroes and sheroes can not only tell about the death of the dragon, but they can also tell us about their lives. And therefore, I'm extremely proud to present to you Kari. He wrote a book about dragons. Kari is a tester for more than 25 years. And with this book, he likes to bring testing to more people, especially children. So please, Kari, tell us about the dragons.
Thank you, Vera. That was very kind. I'm very glad to be here presenting. So you should be seeing my screen now. So the topic of the keynote is children encouraged into software testing. So I really do believe we need to bring testing already to children, and I'll explain in more detail why. So I have many hats. Being an author for the Dragon's Eye book is one of my hats. I'm also a director of training and a trainer at the Knowledge Solutions. I'm also the secretary of ICTQB. The company Knowit, where I come from, is a big Nordic company. As you can see, I'm from Helsinki myself. And my background in ICTQB, it is the biggest testing organization in the world. So let me give you a task that you can do. So pick a piece of paper and a pen, a marker, whatever. And while I talk, you can actually draw a dragon. It can be any kind of dragon, but the idea is that it is an allegory of a bug. So think about a bug. Is it a bad bug? Is it an easy bug? Very visible bug? And if a bug was a dragon, how would you draw it? And then you draw your dragon. So spend some time sketching a dragon, and if you like, you can email it to me. Take a photo with your phone, send that as an email to that address, kari.kakkonen@dragonsauto.com. And I will promise a English version of the book to the best picture that I get. Also, depending on how the end of the session is, how much time we have, I think I'll try to show a few of the dragons from you in the audience here in a screen share and show them to everybody else as well. I also might upload some of the dragons to my website later, so just that you know. So this is a small task for you. So what I'm going to talk about in the next 24 minutes is first how children learn. So a bit of a background, and then about the book project. So how did I come up with the idea, and where is the book project going, and how? And then we talk about learning software testing through fantasy. So I will, in short, also explain the idea of how the book and the fantasy allegory, parallel, how does it work? And then we go back to taking a look if you actually had some nice drawings sent to my email. So how children learn? Now, that's, of course, a good question. There's lots and lots of literature out about that. There's, of course, so many people teaching children, teachers, adults, parents. And I've been talking to many people over my book project and expanding this list, clarifying this list, which I think is listing pretty much all the ways of learning. I'd like to mention, of course, that stories and examples are a really good way for children to learn. But there are also other types of learning, like exploring, trial and error. There's also repeating. Somebody mentioned in one talk that the boundaries are also a way of learning. So knowing what you can do and what you can't do or shouldn't do. So right and wrong. Actually, that is also visible in stories, rights and wrongs. So trying to understand how children learn, I've been trying then to include as many of these aspects as possible into this book idea. There are lots of studies and opinions, a few references there saying that it's better to learn through multiple ways. So by listening and reading, for example, at the same time, or by observing and exploring at the same time. So the better, the more ways there are, the better the learning is. That is quite universally agreed, and it is very true for children as well, as you can see from the references there. Concerning storytelling, which is here really my key way of getting children to learn about testing. Storytelling really works for all types of people as well. It's a good thing because we are all different. So somebody learns by looking at pictures, a visual learner. Somebody learns by hearing stories, so that would be auditory learner. And then we have also kinesthetic learners, and they can hook into the emotional connections in the story. So storytelling actually works for all kinds of people. And it also, as discussed in the previous slide, combines many types of learning. The focus of this book is people, children, at age of 10 to 12. I've been looking into my pilot readers and trying to understand if the right best age is 10 or 11 or 12 or something. But the theory also supports, as you can see here, that around the age of 11 or 12, children actually start to think about abstract concepts. And testing actually is a bit more abstract than coding or than developing, which is why I don't think testing is best taught at kindergarten or age 7 or 8 or something like that, where learning coding actually very often starts. I think the best time, at least for my approach, is 11 or 8, 12, and that's where we go. So the tweens. So that's a bit of a background. Then let's take a look at the book as a project. So James Whittaker has said in the Storytelling Manifesto that every person has a story. And you also need to tell your story, build to the great symphony of stories that makes the world a better place. So I truly want to tell a story, and that story is about dragons and knights and children learning into testing. And I think through a story, we can make a world a better place, because more testing means more quality in software, and that means better world. So why should we get testing for children? The fact is that IT industry and society in general is really struggling in getting enough people with skills to build new software, to build our information society. It's even IT skills in general are even skills that are needed by all citizens in modern societies. Of course, some people need more of these skills, but people who are building software, developing and testing software. And this brings me to the point. There are lots of approaches and initiatives to teach coding, software development, and the logic of coding to children of young age. So people can get into it, learn it like a natural language, learn the idea of coding. And still, testing is not that present in this child education space. So I do think, and testers agree, that there's always a need for lots of testing as well, and not only coders. So that's why I think we really need to get children also understand what testing is. And so my solution to this is to build on top of all the coding schools and coding classes, teaching coding in different schools and clubs, and to add there some software testing education, and that is the book about software testing for children. So the book project timeline, how did I come up here? There's lots of things here, but I'll go through it quite quickly. So actually, I've been thinking about this for a long time. I started this idea actually in 2014 when I read, well, not read, but I heard about Linda Liukas's Finnish author book about coding to children of kindergarten age called Hello Ruby. And I started thinking that we really need to also talk about testing to children as well, not just coding. And I got some more authoring experience. I had, of course, written many things in blogs and so on for many years, but I actually got into authoring experience. And then there was an opportunity that my family started for 1 year sabbatical. So I set as one of my goals for the year that I will actually write a book. And halfway through the sabbatical, the year, I finally got enough out of my brains to write the first chapter. And so it went forward over the winter. I actually got more chapters out. I sent them to pilot readers, got great feedback. At this stage, it looked like the book would be for 8 to 15-year-olds. I asked for some coaches and friends for concept development, also the illustration. I was writing more and more text, more chapters, and got more pilot readers, more feedback. At this time, summer of 2019, I figured how I'm going to do this. I decided I'll set up a small company to manage all of this. It will be easier. And at that time, around that time, I had many iterations done for this, at this point, finished version of the book. And the pilot reader experience suggested it will be for 10 to 12-year-olds. I also found the illustrator who then drafted some concepts about the dragons that are in the book. I started a crowdfunding campaign to get money for this illustration at the costs. And I started to look for publishers, Finnish and English publishers, at the same time. I got more illustration done, and then I started translating to English. This was winter 2020. I got also a sample design by Illustrator, so I got an idea already about what the book looks like. And at this point, I was able to find the English publisher first, and then the Finnish publisher. And at the moment, what is happening is that both of these publishers are in tech edit phase, and the Finnish version of the book is promised for December 1st. English version has no set the date. I suspect it actually will be 2021, but we'll see. So at the moment, I'm developing things around the book, and it seems very straightforward. As you see many things, I'll just show also that all that has emotionally been actually very hard. Every time there's something good, great feelings. At some point, like here, I realized that I actually need to get some more funding and time. And then I took some time off from work, some more time, not sabbatical, things got easier. At some point, I realized publishers are slow, but then again, I got the publisher deals. At some point, I realized, I need to also invest a bit of my own money. But again, publisher deals gives good hype. And again, in summer, I realized, I'm going to be in a hurry. Again, a bit more time of work was the solution to get my feelings back up and running. So very interesting experience to write a book. I totally recommend everybody to write the book, but also be prepared that it's a long project. There are ups and downs. That's normal. So I'm the author. My illustrator is Adrian Zell, and the website there is the book website. There's also going to be a Creative Commons PowerPoint that is spread for free for every teacher in the world. Let's now take a look at what kind of analogies there are. So how do I tell the story? Why is a story working, a fantasy story working for explaining about testing? So in a story, you can always read first some information about the plot, how the kids are having their experiences and adventures, seeing dragons, seeing knights battle and win these dragons, and it's very, very visual. And then I explain also every now and then, okay, what happened in a story would be like this in testing world. Specifically, the characters play a big role. So there are different types of dragons. So here, for example, it's a dragon from chapter 1, which I call annoying dragon. It's a red one, quite difficult to find, but once you find it, it's quite easy to get rid of it. It breathes fire, it eats lambs. So the dragon has characteristics. So if we turn this into a software defect or bug, it is a memory leak type of defect, which is exactly what you saw there. So hard to find, very annoying. Computer just does some strange things, you don't know why. And once you find it, well, yeah, then you can remove it. But finding is a difficult part. So analogies like this work. So there are different types of dragons. Actually, each chapter represents a new, or explains about a new type of defect, a new type of dragon, and that's a new adventure always for the two children in the book who are growing, who grow up slowly. The book takes place over a time period of 2 to 3 years. So there are also robin dragons. Robin dragons are green or gray. They are from different types. Some are easy, some are hard to find. So they actually represent functional defects, which, as we all know, there are really, really many. Some of the dragons' functional defects can be hard to find. Some can be easy to find. Some are very visible. Some are very well hidden, but once the defect occurs, it can be very bad for the user. So there are all combinations of functional defects. So also in the story, there are different types of robbing dragons. So they rob gold and treasures. There's also a mean dragon. Mean dragon is black and it's stealing food without being detected. Some of you might guess already what this is, and this is a security defect. a little bit mean, tries to do something bad undetected. Then there's a fast dragon. Fast dragon is purple, and it's stealing gold in secrecy. So something is wrong, but nobody really notices exactly why. And what this represents in the real world is a performance defect. So the software works, there's something strange. It's a bit slow, and obviously performance defects are exactly like this. So you need to figure out why the software is slow. Then we have a showy, troublesome dragon. So very visible dragon, but it might not be that bad, but it's very visible. So what is this? Well, it is of course a usability defect. Usability defects are very visible, but they might mostly annoy people. They might not actually break things or stop using the software, but they are very visible very often. So that's an example of a usability defect. Looking at the next one, we have an underground dragon. Underground dragons are underground. They find food going through tunnels, trying to find food stores. And underground dragons represent hardware defects. So of course, sometimes the problem is not the software, but there's actually something broken in the hardware. You might have a broken switch or computer or server or whatever part of your environment. Then they have shadows. Or is it a dragon? That's a good question. These kind of dragon-like things are confusing people. And with this analogy, I am talking about testability defects. So sometimes a tester thinks there's a defect, but really it's not. It was something in the environment. It was something in the test data. So that would be a shadow or dragon. Then we have nice dragons. It's good to have also something nice. Something that you can like. So we have also glittering green dragons that just eats animals, but and helps people as well. Is there a good defect? Yes, there is. Good defects are seeded. So it's called defect seeding or mutation testing. So you can actually create a defect on purpose to help you understand how well you have tested your software, to help find more defects which are real problems in the software. So this is what you can do as well. So in the book we have nice dragon as well. It's a great nice dragon. Then we have a stubborn dragon, which is glittering green as well, and it's harassing people repeatedly. Now this is a version management problem. It could be any type of defect, very often a functional problem that comes back because version management doesn't work. You get an old version of software. Then we have a confused dragon, and confused dragons are small, and they like to harass large dragons. They are fairly easy to get rid of and fairly easy to find, and this represents documentation defects. So something in the instructions how to use software is something, but the software works in a different way, so people get confused. So this is a problem as well. And that was all the type of defects I explained in the story. But of course we have knights as well. Knights represent testers and developers. Teams of people working together in agile or DevOps setting that are trying to make a good software, and while they do that, while they create software, also try to find defects and so test it and then fix all those defects as well. Obviously, we'll have also the children, which I mentioned, the children and other villagers, and these represent users. Users are very much needed in testing, and they represent a smaller or larger role depending on what kind of software. And users, of course, give the feedback to the development team on what works, what doesn't work. So they are defects. There's also a particular type of users, hunters. These are technical support, So people who try to keep things running, to even test and fix defects, and in DevOps setting, they would be within the development team, of course. And then we have lords and ladies. They are, of course, needed. They live in castles. They order in the software world. They order software. They could be product owners. They could be management. Very important roles as well, of course, to have, because they pay for the software. And then we have sages. Sages are experts in something, for example, usability, and they will help the whole team to make a better software, helping with testing as well. Okay, so now we are at the stage where I will go back to the design your own dragon slide, and let's see if my email has any interesting dragons. So I will just I keep talking, but I will stop sharing for a second to be able to see what is in my email, or is there anything. Let's see if you sent any interesting dragon. Let's see. Do we have anything here? Looks like there are no messages from you, dear audience. That's fine. You can send a good dragon also to me at some time later. So what I will do instead, I will share again and present anyway a drawn dragon, and a drawn dragon is, and a moment more, right here. Now this is a dragon I have drawn. So you also notice why I'm not the illustrator, but I have Adrian Sellas as my illustrator for my book. I like to draw as well, but I'm just not as talented as my dear illustrator. Okay, so great. So you can really do lots by analogies. And dragons are also fun, but they actually offer a quite good representation of defects, because they can be of many sizes, many colors, difficult, not that difficult, easy to find, hard to find. It can be easy to get rid of, hard to get rid of. So they really, when I was thinking about the book, I was thinking about different angles, and I tried a few approaches, but I soon decided that the key outline will be talking about the defects and reductions, not, for example, testing types or testing techniques. That could have been another approach. So dragons work very well as an analogy, and obviously when you have a fantasy world, you will also have all the people, children, adults, knights, and so on, who are also very much needed for creating a full fantasy world. And of course, for children, having the two children there growing up, they can be idols to the readers. They can think about being these children who are living in this fantasy world and finding dragons. So that is the thing. With that, I would like to thank everybody very, very much. At the moment, it's possible to pre-order the book. There's a link, and just follow the book project on our website. Subscribe to some news, and I look forward to speaking all of you soon at the later stage. So thank you very much, and of course thanks to the sponsors for the RTC Online. It's great that we made this online conference happen. Thank you very much. See you soon.